So today we will see relation between LTI system, that is some properties and the impulse response. So first we will see memoryless LTI system. First one is memoryless LTI system. So we know about a system when and how a system may be memory, is having memory, or it is memoryless. So how we define whether a system is memoryless or not? If the output of that system is depends upon only the current input, right? So what we can write? The output of a memoryless LTI system depends only on the current, or what we know as present input, right? So then we can recognize this system, this LTI system, as a memoryless. So let us consider a discrete time LTI system. Let us consider discrete time LTI system. Yes, am I audible? My voice is clear or not? Clear? Okay. So for a discrete time LTI system, what we can write? That Yn is the convolution between input and the system response, right? Xn convolution h of n. So by using commutative property, we can also write it as hn convolution of xn. Okay. So if we expand the terms, these sum terms, if we expand, so as a whole, what we can write? This one as k minus infinite to infinite h of k within third bracket x of n minus k, right? So previously what we have written, x of k h of n minus k. Okay, so if we expand this sum terms, so what we can write? Expanding this sum terms, this yn can be written as, if we expand this one, so starting from minus infinite to infinite. Okay, so let us start with this term x of n plus 2 h of minus 1 x of n plus 1 h of 0 x of n plus h of 1 x of n minus 1, then h of 2 x of n minus 2, and other terms. Okay, so if the system to be memoryless, so yn must depends on xn, only on xn. This yn must depends on xn, and therefore cannot depends upon x of n minus k, right? So for the system to be memoryless, yn, this output of the system must depends on, or depends only on x of n, the present input, and therefore cannot depends on x of n minus k for k not is equals to 0. So this is the condition. So if we go with this expression of yn, So other than xn, all other terms will be 0. Thus all the terms other than this h0 xn must be 0, right? So if we consider this is as equation 1, let us consider. So according to this condition, in equation 1, all terms except h0 xn are 0, right? Okay. So this condition implies that h of k is 0 for k not is equals to 0. So for a discrete time LTI system is memoryless. So a discrete time LTI system is memoryless if and only if h of k is c into del of k. Okay, so where c is an constant. Okay, so all the terms other than this term must be 0, because this h of 0 deals with only the current input. Okay, it deals with only the current input xn. So what we can say about the system response, that h of k should be 0 for k not is equals to 0. So other responses which relates with either past input or future inputs, those responses relates the system input, so those output are must be considered as 0. Okay, so if we are been writing for a continuous time system, so the output of a continuous time system, so what we should write? Yes, continuous time system yt we should write like this in terms of integration h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Okay, so in the same way the condition for memoryless, the condition for memoryless, the condition for memoryless is h of tau is c into del tau. So here also c is a constant. Okay, clear? So what is the condition for a memoryless LTI system? Next we'll go with causal LTI system. So what is the condition for causality? The output of the system depends upon past or present inputs, right? For the causal LTI system, the output of a causal LTI system depends only on past or present values of the input. Okay, so again if we write this yn and if we expand that starting from h of minus 2 plus 2, h of minus 1, n plus 1, like this. So we need to consider only past and present values of input, right? So what are the past and present? This xn, starting from this xn, then x of n minus 1, x of n minus 2, like this. Okay, so this past and present values of input inputs are starting from xn, then x of n minus 1, x of n minus 2, like this. So all of them having some impulse response associated with them, right? Some impulse response associated with them. So all of them are exist, means all the input, that is past or present inputs, which associated with some impulse response for k greater than or is equals to 0. So they are associated with impulse response h of k for k greater than or is equals to 0. Okay, if we consider this future input, what are they? Future input starting with x of n plus 1, x of n plus 2, like this. So they are associated with impulse response h of k for k less than 0. Okay, so yn depends only on past or present values of input, right? So what we require this impulse response for this future input should be 0, right? So in order for yn to depends upon past or present input only, the impulse response, that is h of k, should be 0 for k less than 0, right? The impulse response which relates with the future input must be 0, that is h of k should be 0 for k less than 0. So the condition for causality causal LTI system is that h of k should be 0 for k less than 0. Okay, so what this final expression of the output will be looks like for a discrete time system. If we take convolution sum, the modified form of this output expression will be y of n starting from 0 and going in the right hand side, that is k is equals to 0 to infinite h of k x of n minus k, right? So in the same way, if we go with this continuous time system, so what will be the condition? If we consider a continuous time system, the condition is h of tau should be 0 for tau less than 0. So this modified output again for this continuous system y of t is integration 0 to infinite h of tau x of t minus tau d tau. Okay, fine, right? Okay, so third one is stable LTI system. So we need to go with the stability of the LTI system. So as you know, the condition for stability is that, or BIPO's stability is says that bounded input should produce bounded output, right? So this third one is stable LTI system. Stable LTI system. So a system is bounded input, bounded output, stable. So we know a system is bounded input, bounded output, that is BIPO, stable if the output is guaranteed to be bounded, like that. If the output is to be bounded for every bounded input. Okay, so if we consider a discrete time system, let us consider a discrete time system first. So bounded input means the input x of n should have some value, that is m of x represented by this must be less than infinite. Then when it produces the output should also be like this. Okay, this is the condition. So this is about our xn and this is about our yn. So we need to find out the condition about the system response h of n, right? Okay, so our system output y of n is convolution between system response and the input, right? So we can write like this. If we expand in terms of sum of terms, k is minus infinite to infinite h of k x of n minus k. Okay, clear up to this? So what we know, I am just writing like this, a line, the magnitude of a sum of terms, if you consider only magnitude, is less than or equal to the sum of their magnitudes, that is, if we consider an example, that is the magnitude of sum of terms, let us consider A and B, is maybe equals to or less than the magnitude of each of the terms when we take the sum. Okay, so the magnitude of sum of terms is less than or equal to the sum of their magnitudes. So in this way we can write for this yn also, if we consider only the magnitude, it may be less than or equal to summation of k is equals to minus infinite to infinite h of k x of n minus k. Okay, again another condition, the magnitude of a product of terms is equal to the product of their magnitudes. That is, magnitude of the product of terms A into B, product of terms, is equal to, if you take the product, then magnitude of each of the terms, product of their magnitudes. Okay, so what we can write according to this, summation k is equals to minus infinite to infinite h of k multiplied with magnitude of x of n minus k, magnitude. Okay, so when we have been assuming the bounded input, that is assuming bounded input, that is we are considering only the magnitude infinite, then mod of x of n minus k is also having some magnitude mx. So we can write k is equals to minus infinite to infinite mod of h of k. Okay, so hence the output is also bounded for this case. So therefore we can say the output is bounded, or mod of yn is less than or is equals to infinite. Okay, for all n, provided the condition is that this impulse response of the system is summable, then only we can say it is like this. Provided, I am just writing, then I will explain. Provided the impulse response of the system is absolutely summable. So what we conclude that the impulse response of the stable LTI system satisfies the condition is that this impulse response of the stable LTI system satisfies this bound. That is, the condition is that summation of k is equals to minus infinite to infinite mod of h of k should be less than infinite. So in the same way we can find for the continuous time system also, that is integration minus infinite to infinite mod of h of tau d tau must be less than infinite. Okay, so what we have considered, so we have been starting with the condition for a system to be stable. That is, a system is stable when bounded input produces or guaranteed that the output must be bounded. Okay, when the input is bounded, these magnitudes of the input coefficients are bounded, then we can say the output which have been produced from that system should also be bounded in nature. Okay, so when we have been coming to the LTI system, the output relates the input as well as the impulse response, right? It relates the input as well as the impulse response of the system. Okay, so we are writing like this. So we have been applying some conditions when we have been considering some magnitudes, because it considered the sum terms, these sum terms as well as the multiplication terms, right? So it is having hk into nk and it is continuous for k is equals to minus infinite to infinite. So it is consisting of some sum terms as well as some multiplication into it. So when we have been going with the magnitude, so what are the conditions what we can consider? That the magnitude of a sum of terms, the magnitude of sum of terms, let us consider for this a and b is the term for example. So the magnitude, because we are having the magnitude over here, we have been considering the magnitude. So the magnitude of a sum of terms is less than or equal to the sum of their magnitudes. Sum of their magnitudes. So it may happen, it may be equal or it may be less than of that. Okay. So if we write on this expression, this is our output yn. So magnitude of this yn can be written as like this. Okay. So what we have been considering, that sum of terms, previously we have been considered the terms and their magnitudes, then it has been summed, right? So it is having the terms with us, then we have been doing the summation. Now what we have been considered, we have been considering the terms with us, then we are doing the summation between them, right? So this can be written like this, either this one when we have been representing in terms of magnitudes, so this magnitudes when we are taking the summation between them, so that may be equal or less than with considering our output. So again it consists of some multiplication of terms. So what are the conditions for that? So magnitude of a product of terms, if we are having the product of terms like this, is always equal to the product of their magnitude. So if we are having the terms which have been multiplied, so when we have been considering their product, then when we have been considering their magnitude, so that is always equals to the product of their magnitudes. So here a and b is the multiplication. So when we have been considering the magnitude from this multiplication, then if we consider and if we relates with the magnitude of each of the terms and then we are doing the multiplication, then these two will be same. So that is what we have written, these two are same. Here we are having the multiplication of the terms and we have been considering the magnitude. Now we have been considering the magnitude, then we are doing the multiplication. Okay. So assuming the bounded input, this is the bounded input, then these terms, this magnitude of each of the terms is having some magnitude m of x, let us consider. So it is xn, which is consists of this xn denotes the weights of the input, that is in terms of mx. So this x of n minus k, it is also having some weight, let us consider it is mx. So what we can write, this x of n minus k is having some weight mx, which is been taken out because this is the magnitude only. So this magnitude is written as this mx. So and then we are having our system responses. So magnitude of that system response. So if the output should be bounded, so what is the condition? This magnitude of the system response should also be bounded, right? So this is the condition. So what we want our output should also be bounded. This output should also be bounded. So if we have been considered this is the magnitude of the input which is bounded, this magnitude of the input mx which is bounded, so obviously if yn should be bounded, the impulse response of the system should also be bounded, or the magnitude of the impulse responses should also be bounded. Okay, so this is the condition for a discrete time system, this is the condition for a continuous time system. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, let us do some problem. Let us solve some problem. So some output of the system is given by like this, yn which is the output, it depends upon some constant p, yn minus 1 plus xn. So you just tell me what is this yn minus 1? It is having the impulse response of hn is equals to p to the power n u of n. Okay, so they have been asked to find out, is this system causal, memoryless and bipostable? Is this system causal, memoryless and bipostable? Understood? So this is the output of the system, this is the impulse response. Okay, so what is this yn minus 1? Past output. So this present output is depends upon some past output as well as present input, and this is our impulse response. So we need to find out, or we need to check whether the system is causal, memoryless and bipostable. So is it a causal system? Is it a causal system? Why? Right. So from the impulse response, can we say about the causality from the impulse response expression? So what does it mean? This hn p to the power n un. So this expression is exists only in the right hand side. That is hn is 0 for n less than 0. This hn is less than 0, sorry, is 0 for n less than 0. Impulse response is completely 0 for n less than 0, that is it exists in the right hand side, that is it depends upon it acts upon the present input and the past input both. So it is a causal system. What about the memoryless condition? So does it have memory? Memory means the output of the system depends upon the present input only, right? It depends upon the present input only. So when we have been going with the memory of the system, so what is the condition? This is the condition, right? That is h of k is equals to 0 for k not is equals to 0. So if we go for this case, if we have been going for n greater than 0, so this hn is not is equals to 0, right? Hn is non-zero. This hn is non-zero for all values of n greater than 0. That means it doesn't depends upon only on the present, but also this impulse response is having the dependency on the past inputs, right? N greater than 0. So it is having memory. So it is not a memoryless system. So what about the stability? What about the stability? So what is the condition for the stability? Stability condition says that the impulse responses or the magnitude of the impulse responses must be absolutely summable. This impulse response of the system must be absolutely summable, right? Must be absolutely summable. So this impulse response of the system, for this case it is given as like this. So if we take the sum of the impulse responses starting from minus infinite to infinite, h of k, so what is this? It is starting from 0, right? Because it is depending upon the right hand side values only, that is present and past input, that is starting from k is equals to 0 to infinite p to the power k, right? So is this sum is less than infinite or greater than infinite? This sum, find out. So how to find whether this sum is tends to infinite if k goes towards the infinite? How to find out this sum? So if it goes on increasing the value of k, so obviously this term will goes on increasing, right? P to the power k starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, 200, 500. So it is goes on increasing, right? The sum is goes on increasing and going towards the infinite, isn't it? So this sum is diverging out, right? It is diverging out. So if we want this sum to be within the some limit, that is it is less than infinite, so what will be the condition? So if this supposed to be converge, for convergence our p must be less than 1, then only this one will, this sum, this k is equals to 0 to infinite mod of p to the power k will be less than infinite. So the stability condition is that our p, this p must be less than 1. This p must be less than 1, then only this one will be a Bibo stable system. Okay, just take some other problem. Some impulse response in terms of continuous time system is given as, let us consider is 1 is 2, h of t is u of t plus 1 minus u of t minus 1. Tell me, it is very easy. Find out memoryless, either it is memoryless, causal and stability. Is it a memoryless? It is starting from left hand side, going in the right hand side, starting from minus 1 and to plus 1, isn't it? If we plot, it will be like this, minus 1 to 1. It is having the amplitude of 1. It is our h of t. It is 0. So is it a memoryless? Is it visible? Come on, speak out. Is it memoryless? It depends upon left hand side values also, right? So what we know, our h of tau, what is the condition? Come on, speak out. What was the condition? It should depends upon the present input only, right? Am I audible? Hello? What happened? People not responding. Don't put on the chat box, just speak out. So is it a memoryless? It depends upon future values also. So for the memoryless system, the output should depends upon the present input. So it is depends upon the left hand side values also. So it is not a memoryless, not memoryless. It is having some memory. Find out about the causality. Causality means present and past. That is, causality, h of k should be 0 for k less than 0, but it is having, it is not causal, right? Because it depends upon some values which is less than 0. It is having some non-zero value for k less than 0, or we have been thinking about if it is in continuous time system for tau less than 0. So it is not causal. What about the stability? What about the stability? Bounded input can able to provide bounded output. Stability. So what does it mean? Stable if the magnitude of impulse responses is absolutely summable within the range. So we can take out the a finite value of this summation or this integration, right? This is the condition for a continuous time system. Integration minus infinite to infinite h tau d tau should be less than infinite, right? So if you take the integration of this, is it less than infinite? Yes. So it is a stable system. So let us take another problem. H of t is ut minus of 2 of u of t minus 1. Find out about that. So is it a memoryless system? Is it memoryless? So ut, right? So we can also write like this, ut plus minus 2 is the magnitude u of t minus 1, right? It is not memoryless. So if we plot this one, so how it will looks like, some step starting at 0 and going, it is having the magnitude of 1, right? At 1 it is having the magnitude of minus 2, so it will goes down, it is minus 1, so like this it will goes down, then it will goes on continue from that, right? Isn't it? This is the plot of this h of t, this is your minus 1, this magnitude, so it is not memoryless. What about causality? Causal, because it depends upon the values on the right hand side. Causal. What about the stability? What about the stability? Is it stable? Whether the impulse responses are completely summable within the range? This is the impulse response. Is it stable? What happened? It is not stable because it is goes in the axis in the right hand side. It is keeps continue in the axis. So when some input should be given, due to this impulse response which is unbounded, so the output should also be unbounded. So it is not stable. So you just take some problem, just try to solve. H of n 2 to the power n u of minus n, then h of n half to the power n u of n. Just take these problems and try to solve. Okay, I'm just concluding to this.